Hey, it's Brooks. I'm back looking at a couple of you guys have been asking about when I'm doing my carving, how I get what I'm using to get my final thickness on the edge. I've rough carved this plate to just over 1/4 inch. I penciled a line on there quickly, strong 1/4 inch, and I've carved pretty much a finished carving to that. Now what I'm going to do is you can maybe make out the pencil line around the perimeter here. I'm going to go in with the safety planer chucked into the drill press and make sure that the speed is right for this guy. Oops, just ran into the tool there. Generally we want these big bits spinning pretty fast, so slow cut right now. So we're going to max out the speed on this. It's trying to plane, and we're going to want a fairly high RPM. Out of this machine it's not very high, it's 2920, so a big bit like this could spin quite a bit faster. Regardless, we're just going to use what we got here. It'll cut just fine. So if you could make out the pencil line around here, I've given myself a perimeter that I'm going to set to the 1/4 inch depth and just run that around the perimeter. This deck has been leveled to this bit, so it should be a pretty straightforward operation. You just have to watch out. There are areas of tear out, so we just got to be slow and cautious of that grain changing. All right, here we go. As you can see, my final thickness here, that 1/4 inch thickness. I'm going to leave a little bit for sanding, but you can see there's not a lot being taken off. So what this means is when I come to blend in what carving I have here to here, it's not going to be a whole lot of work. That's the idea with the rough carve, is to get it pretty close, neighborhood close, and then just pick towards your finished dimension pretty slowly and carefully. All right. It also makes for a very shallow cut on this pass, which is what we want on final passes. Don't want it to take a lot. So I'm concentrating on holding the pressure down. I don't want to tip the piece up and run through the plane, so I'm using just enough pressure to keep it down, keep a uniform depth. Let me make sure you guys can see what I'm seeing here. Now it's called a safety planer, but obviously it's got spinning blades. You don't want to get too close to it. You see we're just nibbling away the sides. I can do this a lot quicker. I'm just going to take my time on this one. See, I'm being real careful with the horns. Got a lot of potential for tear out here. If I come at it the wrong way, I'll just blow that corner right off. I don't want to take too much here because I still want to leave a nice ridge for carving. So again, I'm just taking my time. Gets funky in here, so we're going to leave that for last. Again, it doesn't have to be perfectly on line. The closer you are, the less carving there is. So getting it close. Don't want to go over it though. What I'm establishing here, I might establish a little more here, is at some point this is going to receive binding. I need a flat ledge for that binding to for the cutter to ride along. So using the Stumac binding jig, you can see what I'm looking at down the road. This surface is going to have a nice little channel to ride along there. Can you see in there? So I'm creating myself some space for a future step. So looking at that tells me I got to go a little further inboard there. Again, we don't want to get carried away. Just nibbling our way. We can pick up most of this with the finger planes later on. So, go a bit faster, but I enjoy doing my work, so why would I want to rush it? Back in the tear out territory. I'm going to start taking in some nibbles again. Listen to the tool cut. It should be pretty good. Now the rule is you go to the hill point and then come downhill to help avoid tear out. Again, downward pressure on the front of the piece here. Ideally my table would extend and this whole thing would be supported, but just gotten used to doing it this way. tear out territory. See, I'm changing my direction of feed. I'm not going with the cut. I'm going with the cut, not against it. Generally, you cut against the cutters. The cutters are coming in this way, and we're feeding it. However, we just reverse it when we get into these problem areas so that we don't run into any problems. That is against the direction of feed generally. We got a little blowout area there. Now I'm taking so little that when I'm going with the cutter, I'm not taking enough to throw the piece. So I'm in control of it because I'm taking such little material off. Alright, got a high potential for blowout here. I'm just going to nibble. Watching where my tear out occurs and limiting it with my next passes. Most careful on the end grain. I guess you guys will know that. Okay, now we're getting into the funky part. I'm going to come this way and come back and try and take as little material as possible. So I'm not getting, as you can see, the cutter's going to be a pretty tight fit in here. So I'm just going to want to slowly approach all of my lines. I got to make room, but I also have to watch where my other side of the cutter is. Watch out for tear out on the tip there. We're talking end grains again. When you hear the spindle load up like that, if you can hear it, it means you're putting too much in. You just need to slow it down and let the tool do the work. Even if it takes a little bit longer, like I said, I love my job. Why would I want to be doing anything else? I want to get it right. Focus and attention, pretty important. I'm watching the far side of the cutter. I'm going to watch my pull cuts because it's going to want to pull the piece in because of the direction I'm feeding it. I just want to control the depth. Slowly approach my line at all sides. I know you guys can't see under there, but see, we're getting to it. Again, this is all for making a uniform thickness of, in this case, it's a back plate for an arch top, but this is my 1/4 inch established thickness. I have a flat face on the back that I established before I joined, well, after I jointed, I thicknessed it, and so we've got a prepped up glue surface back here, and this is going to create, like I said, that flat spot for the binding jig to ride along. Okay, just about finished up here, so we'll push on through. So we need a little more in there. Just a little bit more, not too much. There we have it. Clean up this side. We're into our final. See, there's little, I don't know if you can see that, little tiny shelves where the planer, you know, might catch a little bit and take down. We're cutting it slightly overside enough, so little stuff like that's not gonna register in the final thickness. Then we're gonna slowly approach our line. A little different access on this one. Watching all my points, contact with the tool. I'm watching my fingers carefully. I want to be able to safely get out if this thing tries to suck me in. Find my thumb brace right there. That's it. So from here we just go into the rest of the carving, the final carving. Done a lot of the work already in the rough carve. Now you can see I just need to blend these areas. We got high spots here because it's a little harder to get in on the horns. So I'll just take a little more work with some of the smaller finger planes. But the main field of it back here, we're just going to be able to blend in to start, and then flip it over, carve out the back, leaving our blocking intact for flat glue surfaces, keeping our edges intact for flat glue surfaces, carve out the majority of the inside here. Then we can get into the recarving. So that's probably going to be the next video. I'm showing you guys the cutting the recarve in these in this case the back. All in the other videos you can see basically what I've taken from this step and show the rest of the carving is the same. So what I didn't show before was the step that we just did in the other room with the safety planer. So just think about what you're doing, what you're trying to accomplish. What I was trying to accomplish was create a final plate thickness and also give myself a nice flat area that I can run the depth gauge of my binding route on. So that it's got to have something nice and flat to register on. I just gave myself that. So it's knocking a couple steps out with one additional tool to the shop. The safety planer comes in pretty handy in my shop. I use it for a lot of stuff. So got my